How's it going, everybody? One of the most anticipated and requested videos I ever get whenever there's a new character drops into the game is who are the best characters to take Dark Dimension X now. Right now it'd be 7. Some people ask about 6 if they're on the up and coming because they want to get Scroll because you need them for Old Man Logan and stuff like that. So I figure we better do a re-up of that video. And we're going to go section by section. I'm going to talk to you about my experience having these characters, taking different characters into the various sections, and what I think are my main suggestions now, because it's definitely changed. When Illuminati came, it didn't change at all, but that was because Illuminati sucked. And then they buffed the crap out of them, and now they're a real contender. So things have definitely changed. But let's go ahead and let's start with the city section. And right off the bat, what I'm going to say is there's a new raid coming. Everybody knows that. The rewards, I don't think we know the rewards yet. At least I don't know the rewards at the time of the recording this. But they're going to be good, because otherwise nobody would want to do the new raids. So when I look at the city section, I'm kind of looking at like, Spider Society is still the only team that makes the most sense. Because we're probably going to need these guys and gals bigger. They are absolutely amazing in the mode itself. And for the most part, they're pretty cheap. They're pretty damn cheap, especially the Noir being Mystic. We're going to have a hard time getting Mystic characters. What I will say, though, is when you take these guys, you got to be a little bit careful, because look, it's counting as 5 skill when this is not the case. Noir is pure Mystic, and Ghost Spider is pure Bio, so there's actually no skill here. It's kind of messing with the numbers. Same with the Bio pieces here. I believe Peter might take some Bio pieces, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he takes some Bio pieces, but for the most part, he is skill as well. But I also really like the other modes, and I like leaning into things. So if I were to pick one of the weakest members, it would be Ghost Spider. So I would probably sit her, because I also want to have some fun with the game. I want to make sure I'm ready for Crucible and for War. And for me, there's a lot of great options here. Vulture, I gotta say, man, Vulture has been growing on me for sure. I really like what he brings to, say, enemy Black Knights in Crucible if they don't have that extra buffs that Captain America gives them. I think he's really, really, really damn good. So I wouldn't hate the idea of bringing Vulture. Look, he's cheap, he's tech. We might have a hard time finding some tech people for now. And the rest of the characters kind of give me a hard time, except for Robbie. Robbie's also a Mystic character. He's a 3-piece. He is so influential on that Secret Defender team. And that Secret Defender team is starting to find its way to Crucible on the offensive side, which to me has me licking my lips. Like, I love that. Big Time Spider-Man would be the same as Vulture, so I guess you would have to decide, like, do I want to do Vulture, who I could also use in War and Offense, or do I want to do a really big Time who'll have on War Defense, because they both kind of solve that Crucible issue with the Black Knight, so you can pick from there. So I think those are the 3 characters I would really be looking at. Some characters that I just axe off this list now. Firestar, axed off this list. If you don't have new warriors already in a position where they're kicking ass, they're never going to kick ass again. 2099, I really like the idea of using him as Weaver, but if you're on the up and coming still, it's just not the time to do that. That time has passed until some sort of rework happens. I look at the Hive Mind characters. I just said, like, hey, with new raid coming, we should probably invest in those characters. I have my concerns about the Hive Mind members, just based on the damage output they need to put out to have their passive from Carnage keep rolling. So maybe you do need to do the Hive members. Maybe you need to do all of them. I'm just not sure if that's going to be the case, or if Skrull can go in there and carry, because we're definitely taking Skrull. So I kind of shy away from the Hive Mind members, at least for now. Also because I just get more benefit from the Secret Spider Society members elsewhere. So what I'll do in this case, I think these 4 Spider Society members for me are a lock. If you wanted to sub anybody out, it would be Peter B. Parker, say if you're having bio issues. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sub Robbie Reyes in here. But if I had more tech than Mystic at the time of trying to enter City, I'd probably shift over to Vulture, because I have a lot of fun using Vulture on the offensive side. All right, let's jump on over to the global section. The global section is by far the hardest section, not only to complete in Dark Dimension 7, but the hardest section to pick from. Now, we've had a lot of big names enter the global options, right? Like Mercs for Money are in there now. Alpha Flight's in there now. Cabal's in there, of course. Illuminati's in there. Ares is in there now. The Extreme team is in there now. And it's tough. If you haven't entered global yet, I would almost wait for this new raid and see if Extreme still has legs, or if getting that extra mile into Extreme will increase their lifespan. I tend to think, like Death Seed, Extreme is going to get knocked out fairly quickly into the raid, but I'm not sure. What I would say is, for me personally, I think I get so much value out of Black Knight. And Black Knight has a very, very unique, actually, yeah, it's unique. He's got the Crimson Arcane Magic, which I don't really use for any other character. And that's one of the biggest bottlenecks when I'm tackling Dark Dimension 7 for my own sake. So I really, really like Black Knight. Now, the next character who I would really, really want to bring no matter what would be Nightcrawler. But Nightcrawler's got an issue, right? Nightcrawler is that osmium. Now, osmium is going to be used for a lot of great characters. You got Nova, you got Vol, who we'll definitely have a conversation about, the new Thanos, I guess Morgan Le Fay. There's a lot of great characters that would use it. But I think I would still maybe hold out and see if you can get that osmium for Nightcrawler. See, I need 17, so if I was trying to wait for Dark Dimension 7, I'd be super far off right now. And then I think you have a really interesting decision to make. So if you did buy Captain Britain, I think the 3-piece Illuminati is actually really good now. I put out a video where they were super lackluster. It was Captain Britain, it was Black Panther, and it was Hank Pym. But it was before they spawned with Speed Up. Since that buff, that definitely changes things. Now when you enter a node, you're no longer on the back foot. So even if you don't leave a node with like the best cooldown situation, or you leave it with like Morgan Le Fay, because you have Speed Up, you actually get the ability to jump in front of them and get some control, which has increased their value exponentially. They're no longer like Cabal, where if you don't have Nightcrawler special available, that speed, that snowball doesn't start. Illuminati with Hank Pym giving the Speed Up, that speedball's already there. Mind you, that's if you have Captain Britain. If you don't have Captain Britain, I don't really like Hank Pym and Shuri on their own. Also, I'll say this, even though I hate to even suggest it, if you do the 3 Illuminati members with Black Knight, I've also heard Captain America giving off that energy is crazy for the team. And you're looking at like 10 attacks total to get through the 2 global nodes, which is pretty damn phenomenal. But if you're going to be like me and you didn't get Captain Britain on your account, I think Cabal is still the way that I go. So I still go with Leader, I still go with Iron Patriot if I could find him, and I still go with Namor. All of these characters cost 3 pieces, and what I like about them the most is they're all varied, right? Like we have a bio, we have a tech, and we have a mutant. So at this point, we should look at like how we're doing as far as keeping things even. So it says we got 3 bio characters, but there's only 1 bio piece on Peter, and there's no bio pieces on Pav. So really, we just have the 1 still right now, right? We have 2 mutants, both in bio. We have 5 skill, but essentially we only have 4 skill. We have 1, 2, Peter's like skill and a half, and then we have Black Knight. So really, we're only at 4 skill. And then we have 2 mystics, both are in the city section, and we have 2 tech, but we don't have 2 tech. Penny is counting as a tech, but she's not. So we just want to keep an eye on this and make sure that we're trying to stay as even to this as possible. And then maybe we make some subs along the way during this video to try and make it truly even. But also, this is just straight RNG, what you get from the orbs, right? So that's gonna be the case. So I really like Cabal, but there's also another world with the raids coming that maybe you do to the extreme. The problem with that is you really want the full team. You want the Sunspot because he's going to carry over charges, which lets your Nightcrawler ult at the beginning of every node, lets your Forge ult at the beginning of every node, and lets your Gambit, if you choose to bring Gambit as well, ult and special and give them Speed Up. I don't like that idea, one, because Gambit is another Osmium character, and that's really, really tough to manage. But also, I just don't know if they're going to survive the next raid tier the whole time. If bringing them to Gear Tier 19 does it, because they can get paired with Old Man Logan or something like that, hallelujah, that's awesome. But if that's not the case, that's going to be super rough. Anyway, if this video comes out after a bunch of raid information drops, please take all this with a grain of salt. But I'm personally going with Cabal. Mercs for money, people. I don't think they are anywhere near the conversation for this. And the Alpha Flight members as well. It's just not worth it. Some of their tags could be helpful, but it's going to be a goddamn nightmare when you get in there. So for me, I'm actually still rocking the old school. I'm still rocking with Black Knight, Nightcrawler, and 3 Cabal members for now. That's my go-to. Let's head on over to Cosmic. Cosmic. The Cosmic section, in my opinion, has been altered the most. for a bunch of reasons. The Bifrost team, they're on their way out the door, guaranteed, right? And the Annihilators team, looking pretty freaking good. Like, they're looking pretty freaking good on the defensive side, but also in Arena, which is going to be so important because that's where you're getting a crap ton of cores so you can hyper compete in events, and also so you can get those Arena credits to buy the training modules. Like, the Arena sword its jump in importance is just huge now. So I love the idea of having Annihilators as big as you can possibly get them. What I would want to warn you guys about when it comes to the Cosmic section is that it is comically easy. Compared to the Global section, easy. It's on par with the City section. Like, the difficulty is not there. As far as, like, no-brainers go for this, Vol was a no-brainer. But being that Hooray team is probably on the way out, we don't know when she'll get a rework. I would assume she gets a rework not too late because she's a Scopely original character. And because she doesn't really have value elsewhere, like, she's not a great Crucible plug and play, not a great War plug and play, I actually have a really hard time justifying Vol now. Now, that could make the nodes really hard because Vol is such a Dark Dimension powerhouse, right? So that could make the nodes incredibly difficult. But I think I'm okay with that. I think I would much rather the Osmium that I would put in Val go into endgame Thanos. Now, I'm put in a weird position right now because on my baby account, I actually already did Vol. She already has all the mini uniques on. I've already built her unique, so she's coming with me. And she's going to be great. I did it because in my baby alliance that I'm running, I told everybody, hey, we need 6 people. One person is going to do the Mystic section, the Tech section, for all their friends, and we're going to fan out. And that's why we're able to do like 70% on Incursion 2.3, even though most of the accounts are under 200 days old. So I'm saying this. I want to bring Thanos. I want to wait and bring Thanos. But for the baby account, I'm going to be waiting on Nightcrawler Osmium. And now I'm also going to be waiting on Osmium for Thanos, which is super unfortunate. But I don't think I would bring Val. I'm not going to put her here because I want to kind of craft what I think is going to be the best in slot 5. I think the other Annihilator members, both being bio, kind of works against them. And if I had to bring one, as stupid as this sounds, as bad as it makes me feel, I'm taking Gladiator over Gore. Because the size of Gladiator is going to further the value of the Annihilator's teams outside of Arena. Gore makes them better inside Arena, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be about having 3 Annihilators surrounded by, Skrull, Apocalypse, Mephisto, whatever the case may be. Outside of the mode, Gladiator surviving long enough so that this purple grimace looking guy can get off what he gets off is super important. And he's Promethean, shares it with Namor, which is unfortunate, but it's something that I'm worth waiting for. Gore, as a bio character, I think I would still want to bring him. Again, for that arena use, and also he's those, like, nanobites, bloodborne nanobots, that they're kind of, you're not using them for anybody else, which is nice. All 3 of these new characters are 3 pieces, which is kind of in line with what they normally do. I'm still okay with that for now. I reserve the right to switch off if we get too heavy into the bio. After that, I got to start looking at what we're struggling with. And what we're struggling with as far as keeping things balanced right now, we don't have nearly enough tech and we don't have nearly enough mutant or mystic. So these are the characters we're going to start looking at. For me, that's very, very easy. You say I need a tech character, I say I'm bringing Kang. You say I need a mystic character, I say Icarus. Psych, just kidding. Eternals, really good characters. If you didn't already have them built up, it's not time to build them up. Cosmic Ghost Rider is a goddamn G. He's awesome in War. He's awesome in Crucible with Secret Defenders. We already got Robbie on the list. Cosmic Ghost Rider gets the nod for me. So what we have now is we've kind of balanced it out a little bit, but we still got more balancing. We're heading to the later sections where our options are a little bit less, right? So right now, it says we have 5 bio, but technically, I would argue we have 3.5 bio. It says we have 6 skill. I would argue we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skill. That's a lot of skill. And right now, we have a lot of Osmium users and a lot of Promethean users. 2 is considered a lot. So we got to be very careful going forward with what we're picking. We want to lean into mutants heavy, tech heavy, and mystic heavy. Luckily, that's not going to be too hard. Let's head on over to the legendary section. All right, the legendary section. Well, we want mutants. We'll get mutants. Oh boy, trust me, we're going to get mutants. We are definitely 100 billion% bringing Old Man Logan. That's not a tough sale, is it? He is such an amazing character. Just had the second run, so now people have more stars in him than they used to have. I think that's phenomenal. Definitely worth it. No brainer. After that, I'm going to take a tech character. We're going to grab Goblin for this case. Goblin, very, very good character. I love him in Crucible, love him in War. He's great in modes like Sword Satellite and stuff like that. Makes perfect sense to me. And that's it. I'm scared. After that, the decisions get a lot tougher. I think the next legendary character, since it's not Odin, good chance it's going to be Tech or Mystic, being that I think those are the first raid teams that are going to get benched. So I would just, whoever gets slotted in as that next legendary character, if that is the case, then I'm going to put them in. Whether that be a Tech legendary or a Mystic legendary, it's going to help me tremendously here. And I don't think it's going to influence the rest of our list here. Okay, we still need 2 more people. For me, I'm looking at Rogue. Now, this is maybe a special example for where my baby count is, the only count that hasn't beaten Dark Dimension 7 yet, or the ones that come before it, where I don't have anybody else built. Like, I have Black Bolt built, but he's bio and he's expensive. I have Iron Man built, he's tech, but he's super expensive. I have Doc Ock built, but again, tech, super expensive. If you are swimming, and I mean swimming, in tech or bio gear, then I think those 3 characters are easy decisions over what's left on our roster down here. I think it's an easy collab. I would prioritize it as Doc Ock first. Second, I would prioritize Black Bolt. And third, I'd prioritize Iron Man. Iron Man goes last because eventually everyone's going to get Captain Britain and then Iron Man's bench. And that'll be really feels bad for a character that costs 90 out of 90. But I'm going to live in a world where we're getting things pretty evenly. Rogue is a go-to for me. I had to build Rogue up for Apocalypse. If I had to build her higher, that's just going to help me with my Extreme team in War and Crucible. I use them on offense in War. She's phenomenal there. And I use her in Crucible on the defensive side. She can absolutely be a nightmare, right? And then we go back down. Nova is not an option for me. I loved using Nova in my first and second and my third and fourth run of Dark Dimension 7. I thought he was phenomenal. The battlefield effect is huge. The stun is phenomenal. His tankiness is great, but he's osmium. And so I got to pass on that. Black Cat. We're kind of swimming in skill characters. I never thought I'd say that, but with the addition of Endgame Thanos and using a bunch of Spider Societies, it's tough to bring her, but you still bring her. She's got that stun trauma. She's got rewinds. She's got slows. She's got lots of death proof, so she could take opening attacks. If you got to reset a bunch, she's great there. And that's just it. That's going to be my 4 characters plus whatever the next legendary is. Now, if you are staring at the legendary section and you are ready to enter it, I think you do go to one of the characters that we were just talking about. You could do Doc Ock, Iron Man, Black Bolt. Another option, I would say, is Red Hulk. Red Hulk gets so much play when it comes to Crucible and War, along with Apocalypse. So he would be my 5th if I had to pick right now. That is another bio character, which, I mean, it's fine, because we have 2 fake bio characters, so we're only at 4. And he's Gamma. So he is sharing that with, I believe, Leader, but that's not the end of the world. I'm okay with that. As long as we're not taking like 3 characters either the same unique, I think we'll be okay. All right, let's finish up with the Mystic section. Whoops, I misspoke there. The Mythic section. Way cooler, way more epic. All right, so the Mythic section definitely also got shaken up in a big way. I think there's still 2 absolutely no-brainers, and that's going to be your Apocalypse and your Skrull. That's a full-cost mutant and a full-cost bio. That's why I was hesitant to add another bio character. Skrull costs a lot of pieces. And then we have more full cost. So we have Doom, who is Mystic and Tech. That's a nice little addition. We have Kestrel, who's a mixture of skill and tech. I believe she's 1 skill, 2 tech, or vice versa. So the way that carries up would bear weight. Where my head goes is that Kestrel's cheaper, and that on a plug-and-play fundamental level, although Dorm is great at bringing revives, and if he survives to get a turn, that's great. That's still really rare in Crucible and War. And Doom, if he gets pushed and he brings your best character for a ride, that's going to kick your ass. But if I see Doom on the defensive side, I have a lot of ways to control that right now. Unless they introduce some sort of interesting situation where an enemy Doom is like guaranteed to get pushed. That'd be very scary, right? And when I think about how much I use Doom on offense, I just don't. Because as a up-and-coming player, I didn't put any red stars on him. He's 4 red stars. He gets blown over by these new characters. Like, I'm talking Gladiator does a special, my Doom just dies. He evaporates. The protector of the Annihilators teams one-shots my Doom. If I built him up, yeah, maybe he'd survive it. A little bit more. Or maybe he would just get demolished by, I don't know, Ultimus, who's hitting for 8 million. Like, I find it hard to find use for Doom, but I don't find it hard to find use for Kestrel. As a plug and play, say I'm putting her on Crucible with Tangled Web, or if I see a Phoenix who's going to do some interesting things with Old Man Logan, or if I need permakills, or if I need a buff strip turn 1 with her 5,000% focus on her ultimate that's also stripping all the other buff. Like, she's a great character. She doesn't share any of the other uniques here. She is Shield, which I think is great. You can see that right now she needs Augmented Dragonite, and then she's Thrill skill pieces. So like she's not very expensive. It's what it comes down to. I've been dogging Dorm and Doom, haven't I? I think you know where I'm going with this, guys. We're taking Ultron. No, I'm just kidding. We're taking Ultimus. Look, I don't care that Ultimus is 90 out of 90. I don't care that Ultimus doesn't get play on the arena team because, you know, if you get Mephisto after this, he's going to go in there over Surfer for sure. And then Apocalypse goes over Ultimus, or maybe Skrull goes over Ultimus. Those mythical characters are going in over Ultimus and Skrull. With Ultimus in this game recently, I have had so much fun. Just absolutely ass blasting people off the map. I'm talking like a giant Black Knight. I'm able to get that the defense up off of him, and all of a sudden it's just boom, 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 and he just destroys it. It's like watching Floyd Mayweather piece up Logan Paul. It's just a sight to behold. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, I get it. He's expensive, but he's Mystic, so that fits pretty well. And because you only need 4 people, that's what I'm going to go with there. So let's go ahead and let's check the spread that we got going on here. Skill looking pretty expensive. Kestrel is a half piece cost, as is Peter. Noir doesn't count at all. So it's going to cost that down quite a bit. You see, we don't have, what is this, 25 characters? We don't have 25 here. If we were to add this up, it's a lot more. It's, well, if we were to throw one over here, there'd be an additional 4. We have 29 characters here. So 4 of them are overlapping. It's just too much, right? So I actually think that this is a decent spread. The concern here is definitely with the uniques. Osmium being used twice. Prometheum being used twice. Gamma being used twice. That's a little tough for an up-and-comer. But I also think it's just going to be a long time before I'm up there. And I'm going to have the chance to get those orbs from the RNG, from the store as we go. I'm looking out for those right now. What I will say is these uniques, if you aren't aware yet, these, like the big uniques, seem to be the biggest bottleneck for bringing the best characters in. Whereas like the mini uniques, you're just kind of getting peppered with them every day from the raids. When we get this new raid here, I assume we're going to be getting even more. So that's going to be exciting too. And that's my plan, guys. So people that ask me my plan, has it changed? It hasn't changed much, except that Nova's now out because Endgame Thanos is in, Annihilators are in, Vol, Eternals, they're out. I brought Photon before, so Cosmic got a huge lift. City and Global looking pretty similar to me, but if you have Captain Britain, I do think the 3-piece Illuminati slots in there. And as far as Legendary goes, like I am just waiting to kick out Black Cat probably. We probably end up kicking out Black Cat, and I bring in whatever the next legendary character is to even up on skill a little bit, or it's Red Hulk. It's either Black Cat or Red Hulk. We'll get the boot, and the next legendary character will come in because they're definitely going to be out by the time I'm even close to global, let alone legendary. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any alternate opinions, characters that you brought in, please leave a comment in the chat, because I know a lot of people go down there, they see countervailing opinions, and that's important. I'm not the arbiter of truth. This is just what I would do based on my experience in there, based on the nodes, for both Dark Dimension 6 and 7, I should say. Obviously, for Dark Dimension 6, you get to bring Apocalypse into this side, and it makes it a lot easier. And there's no Mythic section. But you can kind of look at this list and say, oh, this is for 6 and for 7. And then from Dark Dimensions 1 through 5, you just do your raid teams. Don't sweat it. All right, guys, hope you have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.